You are a big fool to think that sending money alone makes you a husband.
I did this for us, our future, and for our children. Now, this is how you betrayed me?
Some people will drink from your well for years, then spit in your face the moment they find a river. Emeka Okafor carried his wife's dream on his back like a load of firewood across a cold London winter. 3 jobs, 5 years, no rest. He washed dishes, he drove buses, he cleaned offices at 2 a.m. while she slept. And on the day her business finally stood, the day the contract worth millions landed in her hands, she picked up her phone and called him a fool. But Emeka had been quiet for a reason. And silence in Africa is not always weakness. The first time Emeka Okafor saw London, he cried. Not because it was beautiful, though it was. Not because he was happy, though he told his mother he was. He cried because the cold hit him in a way he had never prepared for. A deep, biting, merciless cold that had nothing to do with weather. It was the kind of cold that comes when a man is far from home and suddenly understands that no one in this new place knows his name, his father's name, or where he comes from. He was 29 years old. He had a small bag, a folded paper with an address in Peckham, and a wife back in Lagos who was waiting for him to make something happen. Her name was Adana. Beautiful, sharp, full of ideas. The kind of woman who walked into a room and immediately made everyone wonder who she was. She had a dream, a real estate consultancy business in Lagos. She had the vision, she had the contacts, she had the personality. What she did not have was capital. And in Nigeria, vision without money is just a prayer. So Emeka teamed to London. The plan was simple. He would work for 2 years, save enough money, send it home, and Adana would build the business. 2 years maximum. That was what they agreed. Sitting on the floor of their small rented flat in Surulere, sharing a plate of fried plantain, laughing about how rich they would be by the time he returned. 2 years became 5. Because London does not care about your plan. Emeka found work quickly. That part was true. But one job was not enough. The rent in Peckham was swallowing his salary before he could breathe. Transport, food, the small things that add up to big amounts, they were eating everything. So he added a second job. Night shifts at a restaurant in Brixton on washing pots and plates until his hands cracked and bled. He bought cheap gloves from a pound shop and kept washing. Then a third job came, a bus cleaning contract 3 mornings a week, starting at 4 a.m. He would finish the restaurant at midnight, sleep for 3 hours, and be on the bus depot by 4. His supervisor at the depot, a Jamaican man named Clifton, once looked at him and said, "You are right, son. You look like you're carrying the whole Caribbean." Emeka laughed. Not the Caribbean, just Nigeria. He called Adana every Sunday. Those calls were the only thing that felt warm in his life. She would tell him about Lagos, the heat, the traffic, the noise, and it would sound like music to him. She would tell him about her plans, her ideas, the contacts she was building, the office space she had found in Victoria Island. Her voice was always alive, always moving, always forward. He never told her about the hands. He never told her about the 3 jobs. He told her he was managing. He told her London was okay. He told her to be patient. He sent money every month without fail. Sometimes it was more than she expected. She would send a voice note, "Emeka, this is too much. You are spoiling me." And he would smile in his small room, sitting on a single mattress on the floor, eating instant noodles, happy that she was happy. There was a man in his church in Peckham, Brother Tunde, from Ibadan, who knew the full truth. Tunde was the one who gave Emeka the number for the third job. Tunde was the one who sometimes brought him food on Saturdays. Tunde once sat across from him at his small table and said, "Emeka, you are doing too much for one woman." Emeka did not argue. He just said, "She's not any woman. She is my wife." Tunde nodded and said nothing more. But there was something in his eyes, a kind of knowing sadness that Emeka chose not to read. Back in Lagos, Adana was not idle. She was grinding in her own way, meeting clients, building her brand online, positioning herself. She was good at what she did, very good. And as the months passed and the money kept coming from London, the business began to take shape. A small office, a laptop, a printer, business cards, a website, staff. She hired a young man as her assistant. His name was Kelechi. 25, shop dresser, always smiling. He started appearing in her pictures on Instagram. "My team," she would caption them. Emeka would like the photos and comment something small. "Looking good, baby. God is faithful." He was not suspicious. He was not the kind of man who searched for trouble. He was too tired for suspicion. After a 16-hour combined shift, a man does not have the energy to read between lines. But lines were being written, and not all of them were in his favor. By the fourth year, something had shifted in Adana's voice on their Sunday calls. It was small, so small that only a man who truly loved her would notice. She laughed less, she became busier, the calls grew shorter. "I'm in a meeting, I have a client dinner. I'll call you back." Emeka told himself it was growth. He told himself this was what success looked like: a busy wife, a growing business, a dream becoming real. He worked harder. By the fifth year, the business had a big name in Lagos circles: Emeka Okafor Properties. People were talking. A major developer had reached out for a partnership contract. If it landed, it would be worth over 200 million naira. Emeka heard all of this and felt pride so deep it almost hurt. He did not know he was the last person who should have been proud. The contract landed on a Thursday. Emeka was at his day job, a courier warehouse in South London, sorting packages, when Adana called. Not a voice note, an actual call in the middle of the day, which she never did. He stepped outside into the cold and answered. "Emeka." Her voice was different, flat, clean, controlled. The way someone speaks when they have rehearsed what they are going to say. The contract came through. Emeka Okafor Properties just signed a 240 million naira development deal with Prestige Homes Lagos. He leaned against the grey wall of the warehouse. He closed his eyes. He felt something rise in his chest that was so big, so warm, that for a moment he forgot the cold. "Adana," he said, "we did it." There was a pause. "I did it," she said. He thought he had misheard. "Sorry?" "Emeka, I need to be honest with you." Another pause, longer this time. "I have been thinking for a long time. You and we are not on the same level anymore. I have grown. This business is mine. I built it. And the life I am building now, it is not the life of a man who washes dishes and drives buses in London." The cold came back, harder than before. "What are you saying?" he asked. His voice was very quiet. "I'm saying that Kelechi and She stopped, then continued. "We are together. We have been together for almost 2 years. He understands my world. He moves with me. He is not what?" She said it cleanly. He is not a struggling lover boy who thinks sending money makes him a husband. Emeka, be honest with yourself. You are a good man, but you are simple. I need more than simple. He stood outside that warehouse for a long time after she hung up. He did not cry. He did not shout. He just stood there while packages moved on conveyor belts behind him, and London lived its cold, busy life around him. A man from Cameroon came outside for a smoke break and looked at him. "You okay, guy?" "I'm fine," Emeka said. That night he went home, sat on his mattress, and looked at the wall for 2 hours. Then he opened his phone and called Brother Tunde. Tunde did not say, "I told you so." He just listened. When Emeka finished speaking, Tunde said, "Come and eat. Come now." He went to Tunde's flat and ate jollof rice and said nothing for most of the night. Around midnight, Tunde said, "What will you do?" Emeka looked at his hands. Cracked, worn, years of hard labor written on them. "Nothing yet," he said. "I need to think." What Adana did not know, what she could not have known because she had stopped asking the right questions, was that Emeka Okafor had not spent 5 years in London just washing plates and cleaning buses. He had also been studying, part-time, quietly, between shifts, a business management diploma at a small college in Lewisham, then an online course in real estate investment and property law that he had completed 6 months before. He had told no one, not Adana, not his mother, not even Tunde fully knew the extent of it. He had been building his own thing, slowly, quietly, the way a man builds when he has no audience and no applause. He had made contacts in the London property market, a Ghanaian broker, a Nigerian mortgage advisor, a British developer who liked working with diaspora investors. Small connections, patient connections. There was also something else, something Adana did not know, about the money she had been receiving all these years. Every month, Emeka had sent her what she needed, but every month he had also been putting aside a separate amount, small at first, then growing into a property investment account in the UK. It had started as just savings. Then the Ghanaian broker, a man named Kwame, showed him how to make the money work. Over 5 years, through 2 small property investments in South London, that account had grown. Not 240 million naira. More. But he sat on his mattress that night and decided that anger was not the tool. Noise was not the tool. A broken man calling his wife to beg and shout, that was not the story he wanted to live. He had something better. Back in Lagos, Adana was moving fast. She had announced the contract on her Instagram. The comments were full of congratulations. She changed her bio. Founder, Adana Okafor Properties, building the future of Lagos real estate. She and Kelechi had dinner at a nice restaurant in Lekki. She sent a legal letter to Emeka through a Lagos lawyer, a divorce petition citing irreconcilable differences. She did not call him again. She had crossed the line cleanly and confidently, the way people cross lines when they believe the other person has nothing left to say. But Emeka had received that legal letter and read it once, slowly, and placed it on the table. Then he made a phone call. Not to a lawyer, not to his mother, to Kwame. "It is time," he said. "Let us move." 3 months passed. In Lagos, Adana's world was sparkling. The contract with Prestige Homes was moving forward. Surveying had begun. Architectural plans were being drawn. She had hired 3 new staff members. Kelechi had moved into her apartment in Lekki. She had given interviews to 2 business blogs. One called her the new face of Lagos real estate. She had filed the divorce papers and was waiting for Emeka to respond. He had not responded. Her lawyer said he would. She was not worried. She assumed he was probably somewhere in London, devastated, telling his church friends how his wife left him. She almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then, a name began to appear in the Lagos real estate market. EO Capital Properties. At first, it was just a whisper. A new firm, foreign-backed, registered in the UK, looking to make significant investments in Lagos commercial real estate. Nobody knew the founder's face yet. The company had a clean website, professional branding, and was already in quiet talks with two major Lagos developers, including Prestige Homes. Adana heard about EO Capital from a contact at a networking event in Victoria Island. The contact said, "They are serious people, UK money but African roots. Very quiet but very big." She thought nothing of it. Then Prestige Homes called her. The voice on the phone was apologetic but professional. The development deal, the 240 million naira contract, the one she had built her whole new life on, was being restructured. Prestige Homes had found a new investment partner who was offering direct UK-based co-financing, which changed the structure of the deal significantly. Her firm would still be involved, but in a reduced capacity. The equity share she had been promised was being revised downward significantly. She asked who the new partner was. A UK firm, EO Capital Properties. She sat down. She sat down for a long time. The man she had called simple, the man she had called a fool, the man she had dismissed as a struggling lover boy, had been quietly, patiently, over 5 years of hard labor and secret study and careful saving, building a real estate investment firm in the United Kingdom. While he was washing her dishes with one hand, he was laying foundations with the other. And the contract she had fought for, the deal that was supposed to be her crowning achievement, the proof that she had outgrown him, he had walked into from the other side. Not to destroy her, not to fight her, not to expose her, simply to do business. And in doing so, he had reduced her position without a single angry word. She called him. He answered on the third ring. Emeka. Her voice was different now, not flat and controlled. Something else, something smaller. Adana. His voice was calm, the kind of calm that is not performed. The Prestige deal she started is a business transaction, nothing personal. She wanted to say more. She wanted to ask how. She wanted to ask when. She wanted to ask why he had never told her. He spoke first. "I want to tell you something," he said quietly. "Not as your husband. You ended that. Just as someone who spent 5 years loving you. I did not come into this deal to hurt you. I came because it was the right deal at the right time. But I need you to know something else." She waited. "Every crack on my hands," he said. "Every night I slept for 3 hours. Every plate I washed, I did it because I believed in you. Not because I was simple, because I chose to love you in the most practical way I knew. I am not angry with you, Adana. I am free." He ended the call. In Peckham, Brother Tunde was sitting across from him with 2 cups of tea. He had heard the whole thing. "How do you feel?" Tunde asked. He picked up the cup and held the warmth in his cracked hands. He said, "A man." Back in Lagos, Adana sat in her Lekki apartment. Kelechi was in the next room, talking loudly on a phone call about something that didn't matter. The Instagram notifications were still coming in. The business blog article was still live, but she was very quiet. She looked at her hands, smooth, unbothered, never cracked, and for the first time in 2 years, she felt something that wasn't triumph. It was the particular shame of a person who mistakes a man's silence for emptiness, only to discover too late that silence was where he kept everything. Some people call you simple because they've never seen a quiet man build. They mistake your silence for surrender. They mistake your sacrifice for weakness. But time has a way of turning the table. Not with noise, not with revenge, but with the slow, undeniable weight of what a faithful man becomes. If this story touched something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And don't forget, subscribe. The next story is already waiting.